The syringe gleamed under fluorescent lights as Marcus Vance steadied his hand above Commander Jackson Hayes' IV line. Potassium chloride, untraceable, instant, designed to mimic cardiac arrest in a critically injured patient. No one would question it. Not in a busy ER where heroes died every day from their wounds. "Sleep well, Commander," Vance whispered, his hospital scrubs perfectly pressed, his false credentials flawless. "Your testimony dies with you, because what happens next will show you that some people never stop fighting. They just choose different battlefields." 12 hours earlier, Maya Reeves counted medication vials for the third time, hands steady, breathing controlled, invisible. "Maya, Station 3 needs coverage." Patricia, the charge nurse, didn't look up from her tablet. "Yes, ma'am." "Don't ma'am me." Patricia's eyes flicked up, suspicious. "You military?" Maya's chest tightened. "Just polite." Patricia turned away. Crisis averted. 3 months Maya had worked these night shifts. 3 months of being the nurse nobody remembered, nobody questioned. Her phone buzzed. "Dr. Chen. Remember, Tuesday, 3 p.m. session." Maya deleted it. Her therapist meant well, but talking wouldn't change the nightmares. The ambulance bay doors exploded open. Maya's hand moved toward her hip where a sidearm used to be, found only scrubs. Not incoming fire, just an ambulance. But the scene flooding through those doors made her breath catch. 2 paramedics burst in wheeling a gurney, faces flushed with fear. The patient was massive, 6'3", shoulders straining against restraints. His right leg was catastrophically damaged, boot cut away, blood soaking through bandages. Medals covered his chest. Full dress uniform, Navy, the trident pin, SEAL. "Move!" The patient's voice cracked like a whip. "Get your hands off me!" "Doctor." Marcus Chen reached for the injured leg. The patient roared. "Are you blind? Do you have any idea what you're doing?" Nurses stepped back. A resident's hand trembled. "Sir, calm down." Chen's voice had that dangerous edge. "I need you to stop touching me like you learned medicine from YouTube." The patient slammed back against the gurney, swallowing a grunt of pain. Maya moved closer. Years of training took over. She clocked the details. Uneven swelling, toes beginning to pale, the specific angle screaming compartment syndrome. Helmand Province, building collapse, 40 minutes under fire, same injury. "What happened?" Dr. Patricia Mitchell pushed through. "Award ceremony at Naval Base Coronado," a paramedic gasped. "Steel platform collapsed, caught his foot. He stayed standing until the ceremony ended." Pride. Warriors didn't fall in front of crowds. Mitchell leaned in to examine the leg. The patient's control shattered. "Get away from me! You're making it worse!" "Sir, if you don't cooperate," Chen started. "Security?" The patient's laugh was bitter. "I've been shot at by actual professionals." Maya's lips twitched despite herself. "We need to sedate him," a nurse whispered. "No!" The patient heard it. "No sedation. I need to stay aware. They're still out there." "Who's out there?" Maya filed that away. Mitchell tried gentle. "Commander, we need to examine your foot." "Then get someone who knows what they're doing. This civilian cowboy is going to cost me my career." Chen's jaw clenched. "I'm trying to save your leg." "You're trying to save your ego. I can feel the circulation dying. Every time you touch it, it gets worse." He was right. Maya could see it. The toe pallor was increasing. The gurney rolled forward, passing Maya's medication cart. The commander's eyes swept across her. Routine environmental scan. Then he stopped breathing. The room felt it. "Phoenix." The word came out quiet, razor sharp. Maya's hands froze. "No." Every eye turned to her. "I'm sorry?" Mitchell stepped closer. "What did you say?" The commander ignored her, eyes locked on Maya. "Phoenix. Medical. Helmand Province, 2019. Maya's throat closed. "Don't confirm. just a coincidence. Chen looked between them. Do you know this patient? No, Maya said, voice steady through sheer will. I've never met the commander. You weren't meeting people. You were keeping them alive, including me. Complete silence. Mitchell's eyes narrowed. Explain. The commander never looked away from Maya. That's not her name. That's her call sign. The words landed like a grenade. Patricia spoke up. Maya's been here 3 months. She's a new graduate. She's a Navy Special Warfare medic. Best I ever worked with. Maya's mind raced. Deny it? He'd already said too much. Chen's face showed pure skepticism. Our HR vets all employees. Nothing in her file about military service. Because she buried it. Because what she saw would break most people. Not Phoenix. She walked through hell still trying to save lives. Sir, Maya finally spoke, carefully neutral. You're in significant pain. You may be confused. Let's focus on your injury. I'm not confused. Helmand, Operation Red Serpent, building collapse. You spent 40 minutes keeping me alive with a collapsed femoral artery and no evac. You told me stories about your grandmother's garden to keep me conscious. The tomatoes never grew right because she talked to them too much. Maya's knees went weak. No one knew that story except the man on that gurney and 2 other operators. Mitchell's voice was sharp. Maya, is this true? The commander's monitor started alarming, blood pressure dropping fast. Training overrode panic. Maya pushed through the frozen staff, eyes scanning the injury with a different lens. Combat medic rapid triage. Move! Her voice made the other nurses step back automatically. She leaned over the leg, hands hovering. Dr. Mitchell, I need gloves. You need to explain. He's developing compartment syndrome. Swelling is crushing the vessels, maybe 20 minutes before permanent nerve damage. Gloves, now. Mitchell hesitated 1 heartbeat. Get her gloves. Maya pulled them on, hands steady. This she knew. Sir, I'm going to perform a temporary stabilization. It's going to hurt. Do it. His voice was tight, but trusting. Maya's hands moved with precision that didn't exist in any civilian manual. She palpated specific pressure points, feeling for exact locations where swelling compressed critical structures. Medial malleolus, posterior tibial zone, anterior compartment rock hard with trapped fluid. She applied pressure in a specific sequence, a technique learned from a special forces medic in Iraq. Not standard protocol, not taught in nursing school. Field developed where textbooks didn't matter. Immediate change. The commander sucked in sharp breath, then exhaled slowly. Pains dropping. How? Temporary. You still need imaging and probably surgery. This buys us time. Chen stared. What did you just do? Reduced pressure on the neurovascular bundle. We need a CT scan now. Mitchell was already moving. Get him to imaging. Stat. She turned to Maya. You're coming. I'm not. That wasn't a request. The team rushed toward the CT suite. 2 men in civilian clothes appeared near the entrance. Regular visitors to anyone else. Maya clocked them instantly. Posture, eye movement, jacket bulges. Military, active duty, here for the commander. One made eye contact. His eyes widened. Recognition. Oh no. In imaging, the scan revealed what Maya already knew. Severe compartment syndrome, crushed bones, ligament damage requiring extensive surgery. Mitchell stared at the screen, then at Maya. You knew, before the scan. I've seen this injury pattern. Where? Chen demanded. Maya didn't answer. The commander, watching from the CT table, spoke. Tell them, Phoenix. Don't call me that. It's who you are. It's who I was. I'm a nurse now, that's all. One of the men from the entrance appeared. Commander Hayes, sir. We've secured the perimeter. Hayes. Commander Jackson Hayes. Hayes nodded, then looked at Maya. Lieutenant, meet the person who saved my life in Helmand. Call sign, Phoenix. The lieutenant's face showed pure respect. Ma'am, we've heard the stories. They're exaggerated. She performed field surgery under fire with equipment meant for a third-world clinic. Kept 3 of us alive 40 minutes until evac. Navy gave her a commendation. She turned it down. Mitchell's eyes were wide. Why would you turn down a commendation? I didn't need a medal. I needed them to live. They did. Mission accomplished. Hayes laughed, then winced. Still the same, still deflecting. An orthopedic surgeon arrived, reviewed scans, started prepping emergency surgery. As they wheeled Hayes toward the OR, he caught Maya's hand. Thank you. Again. Maya pulled back. Do what the surgeons tell you. Don't be difficult. Can't promise that. Despite everything, Maya smiled. I know. The ER erupted in whispers as he left. Maya felt every eye, every question. Mitchell approached. My office. Now. I'm still on shift. Patricia will cover. We need to talk. Maya remained standing in Mitchell's office. With respect, my personal history doesn't affect my ability to do my job. Your history just saved a patient's leg. I'd say it's extremely relevant. Why didn't you tell us about military background? Because it's not relevant. You have combat medical experience exceeding most of our trauma staff. I have PTSD that makes me unsuitable for high-pressure situations. I came here to do basic nursing, to heal without chaos. I specifically requested night shift and minimal trauma. Mitchell's expression softened. Yet when trauma found you, you didn't hesitate. Training takes over. It's more than training. You have a gift. I have scars. I left the military because I couldn't keep watching people die. I became a nurse because I wanted to save lives without war, without violence, without impossible choices. But you did save a life tonight because of your experience. Maya closed her eyes. I know. A knock interrupted. Patricia stuck her head in. Dr. Mitchell? Surgical team requesting Maya's presence in OR. Commander Hayes is insisting. Absolutely not. Mitchell studied her. Why not? The more involved I get, the harder it is to stay detached. I can't be that person again. What if they need you? They have an entire surgical team. They don't need a broken medic who left because she couldn't handle it. The words hung heavy. Mitchell spoke gently. Are you broken, Maya? Or are you healing? Alarms blared. Code blue. Operating room 3. Hayes. Maya ran. She burst into the surgical suite. Controlled chaos. Surgeons working frantically. Monitors screaming. Hayes's vitals crashing. What happened? The lead surgeon, Dr. Raymond, barely looked up. Hemorrhage. Nicked an artery. Trying to clamp it, but Maya saw it instantly. Wrong angle. Standard approach, but crush injury displaced the anatomy. You're looking in the wrong place. Raymond's hands paused. Excuse me? The vessel shifted when the bone fractured. 3 centimeters lateral to where you'd expect. There, that's your bleeder. Raymond adjusted. 5 seconds later. Got it. Clamped. Monitors steadied. Hayes' pressure began climbing. Raymond looked at Maya over his mask. How did you know? I've seen crush injuries from building collapses. Vascular displacement follows a pattern. Where did you train? Maya met his eyes. Places that don't exist on any medical school curriculum. Surgery continued. Maya stayed, offering guidance when asked. 3 hours later, Hayes was stable in recovery, leg saved. Maya left the OR to find the hallway filled. Hospital administrators, security, 6 Navy SEALs in dress uniforms. The lieutenant stepped forward. Ma'am, we heard what you did. Commander Hayes owes you his career. He owes the surgical team. He owes you. We don't forget our debts. Hospital Administrator Margaret Foster approached. Ms. Reeves, we need to discuss your employment status. Maya's heart sank. Here it comes. Your initial application listed you as a recent nursing graduate with no prior medical experience. I have a nursing degree. Everything I submitted was factually accurate, but incomplete. We need your full employment history, including military service. My military service is classified. Then we need verification from the Department of Defense. One of the SEALs stepped forward. Ma'am, with respect, Phoenix's service record is need to know. Unless you have appropriate clearance, this is a hospital, not a military base. We have a right to know who we're employing. Maya felt walls closing in, her two worlds colliding. Mitchell spoke up. Margaret, I've reviewed Maya's performance over 3 months. She's been exemplary. If her military service is classified, we respect that. What matters is she saved a patient's life tonight using skills we clearly need. Foster hesitated. The board will want answers. Then tell them we have a nurse with advanced trauma training willing to share expertise. The source is protected by federal law. Unless you want Navy's legal team crawling through our HR practices? The SEALs smiled. Foster's jaw tightened. Fine, but this conversation isn't over. She strode away. Tension broke. Maya turned to Mitchell. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. I'm putting you on trauma team, full-time. No, I can't. You can and you will. We need you. More importantly, patients need you. The lieutenant spoke quietly. Ma'am, if I may, Commander will want to see you when he wakes up. I'll check on him during rounds. He'll want more than that. He'll want to talk about what happened, why you left, why you disappeared. Maya's voice went cold. That's not his business. You were his medic. You saved his life. In our world, that makes it his business. I'm not in your world anymore. The SEAL held her gaze. With respect, ma'am, you never left. You just changed uniforms. Truth hit harder than any accusation. Maya walked away before anyone could see her break. She made it to the supply closet. Her hands trembled violently as adrenaline drained. She pressed palms against cold metal shelves, grounding herself. 5 things you can see: medication boxes, IV bags, sterile packaging, blood pressure cuff, clock showing 6:47 a.m. 4 things you can touch: metal shelf, cardboard, plastic, her own racing pulse. 3 things you can hear: distant monitors, air conditioning, her breathing. 2 things you can smell: antiseptic, coffee. 1 thing you can taste: copper, blood, fear. Not there, here. Not then, now. The door opened. Mitchell entered, closing it behind her. I'm fine. You're having a panic attack. I'm managing it. Mitchell leaned against the door. How often do these happen? Rarely. I have it under control. Maya, you just worked a trauma case involving a military patient with a crush injury identical to one you treated in combat. You performed emergency surgery support after 3 months of basic nursing. Now you're hiding in a supply closet. That's not control. That's survival mode. Maya's laugh was bitter. Survival mode is all I have. That's not true. You don't understand. When I left the military, I left because I couldn't do it anymore. Every patient with a gunshot wound, I saw the firefight. Every patient bleeding out, I heard mortars. I became a nurse because I thought civilian medicine would be different. Clean, controlled. Medicine is never clean or controlled. But it's not war. Mitchell's voice gentled. Tonight wasn't war. Tonight was you using skills to save a life. That's not trauma, that's healing. It feels the same. I know, but it isn't. Maya finally looked at her. What do you want from me? I want you to consider that maybe you didn't leave the military to escape who you are. Maybe you left to become who you were meant to be. A healer. Not despite your past, but because of it. The words settled deep. Maya's phone buzzed. Unknown number. She answered cautiously. Hello? Phoenix, a voice she didn't recognize. Male, calm, professional. We need to talk about Commander Hayes. Who is this? Agent David Cross, Naval Criminal Investigative Service. I'm investigating the incident at the awards ceremony. Maya's blood went cold. What incident? It was a platform collapse. That's what it was designed to look like. We have evidence suggesting sabotage. Someone tried to kill Commander Hayes. Given your involvement in his treatment, you may be in danger too. The supply closet suddenly felt very small. Why would I be in danger? Because 5 years ago, you and Commander Hayes both testified in a classified hearing about defective military equipment. Equipment still being sold to special operations units despite known fatal flaws. The manufacturers have a lot to lose if Hayes testifies before Congress next month. I didn't testify, I submitted a written report. A report that got 3 defense contractors indicted. A report Hayes is planning to reference in his congressional testimony. You're a witness, Phoenix, which makes you a target. Maya's mind raced. This is insane. I left that world. I'm nobody now. You stopped being nobody the moment you saved his life. Again. Cross paused. I'm sending 2 agents to the hospital. Stay in public areas until they arrive. I'm working. I have patience. Your patience will be fine. You won't be if whoever went after Hayes decides you're next. The line went dead. Maya stood frozen, phone in trembling hand. This wasn't over. It was never over. The war she tried to leave behind had followed her home. The supply closet door handle turned slowly. Maya's combat instincts flared. Wrong movement, too deliberate. She stepped back, scanning for weapons. Scissors on the shelf, scalpel in the trauma kit. The door opened. A man in hospital scrubs stood there. Orderly badge, name tag, James Warren. But his eyes were wrong. Cold, calculated, professional. Nurse Reeves. His hand moved inside his scrubs. Maya grabbed the scissors, her body moving before thought. Don't, he smiled. They said you'd be good. Who's they? The people who paid me to make sure Commander Hayes doesn't wake up from surgery. His hand pulled out something small, metallic. And the people who paid me to make sure you don't interfere again. Not a weapon, a syringe. The same one from 12 hours in the future. Potassium chloride. Step aside, Nurse Reeves. This doesn't have to involve you. Maya's grip tightened on the scissors. You're not getting near him. I'm already near him. I've been working this hospital for 3 weeks, waiting for the right moment. Then you had to save his life. Twice. His smile turned cold. You always were a problem, Phoenix. Even your own report buried good men, cost good companies billions. Those companies sold defective equipment that killed operators. Those companies paid well, and you and Hayes threatened that. So here we are. He lunged. Maya sidestepped, training taking over. She redirected his momentum, drove his hand into the metal shelf. The syringe clattered away. He spun faster than expected. Former military, definitely trained. His elbow caught her ribs. Air exploded from her lungs. She stumbled back, vision blurring. He advanced. Then the door burst open. 2 SEALs flooded in, weapons drawn. Freeze! Warren froze, hands raised. I'm hospital staff. You're under arrest. Agent Cross appeared behind the SEALs, badge out. James Warren, real name Marcus Vance, dishonorably discharged Marine, currently employed by Sentinel Defense Contractors. He looked at Maya. You okay? Maya nodded, still catching her breath. How did you know? We've been tracking Sentinel's movements. When you called Hayes' survival in, we knew they'd try again. Didn't expect them to go after you so fast. Vance smiled even as SEALs cuffed him. You think I'm the only one? There are 3 others in this hospital, and you have no idea which ones. Cross's face went hard. Lock down the recovery wing, now. The SEALs dragged Vance away. Cross turned to Maya. You saved his life 3 times in 12 hours. That's got to be some kind of record. I didn't save anyone. I just got lucky. That wasn't luck, Phoenix. That was training. He pulled out his phone. I need you to come with me. We're moving Commander Hayes to a secure facility, and you're coming too. I can't leave. I have patients. Your patients are covered. You're in danger. Hayes is in danger. And until we identify the other three operatives Vance mentioned, neither of you is safe. Maya looked at Mitchell, who'd appeared in the doorway. Mitchell nodded slowly. Go. Your patients will be here when you get back. If I get back. You will, because you're Phoenix. You always come back. The words hit deeper than Maya expected. Cross's phone buzzed. He looked at the screen, face draining of color. We need to move. Now. What happened? Someone just tried to access Hayes' recovery room. Security stopped them, but he looked at Maya. It was Dr. Chen. Maya's world tilted. That's impossible. He's been here for years. Or someone very good has been deep cover for years, waiting for exactly this opportunity. Cross grabbed her arm. We're out of time. Move. They ran, through hallways, past shocked staff, into the recovery wing where SEALs had formed a perimeter around Hayes' room. Inside, Hayes was awake, groggy, but aware. He saw Maya and smiled. Told you they'd need you. Someone just tried to kill you. Again. Must be Tuesday. He tried to sit up, winced. Cross filled me in. 3 more operatives. We need to find them before... An explosion rocked the building. Lights flickered. Alarms screamed. Cross swore. That was the power substation. They're cutting our communications. Hayes looked at Maya. Remember Hellman? Maya's hands steadied. I remember. Good, because we're about to do it again. Except this time, it's not Taliban. It's defense contractors who want us dead. Another explosion, closer. The lights went out completely. Emergency generators kicked in, bathing everything in red. Hayes grabbed Maya's hand. Stay close to me, Phoenix, like before. Maya squeezed back. Like before, in the hallway, gunfire erupted. The war had found her after all. And this time, there was nowhere left to run. Vance's hand was already moving toward the backup syringe when Maya's foot connected with his wrist. Bone cracked. The syringe spun across the floor, clattering under Hayes' bed. You broke my wrist! Vance stumbled back, cradling his arm. You tried to murder a patient. Maya positioned herself between Vance and the bed. I'd say we're even. Hayes' eyes fluttered open, groggy from anesthesia. Phoenix? What's? Stay still, Commander. Maya didn't take her eyes off Vance. We have a situation. Vance's good hand slipped behind his back. Maya saw it coming, the subtle shift in weight, the shoulder drop that telegraphed his next move. She'd seen it 1,000 times in hand-to-hand combat drills. He pulled a scalpel. Really? Maya's voice was almost bored. A scalpel? That's your backup plan? Desperate times. Vance lunged, blade aimed at her throat. Maya sidestepped, grabbed his extended arm, used his momentum to slam him face first into the wall. The scalpel clattered away. She twisted his broken wrist behind his back. He screamed. Who sent you? She applied pressure. Was it Sentinel Defense? Apex Technologies? Who's paying you to kill a Navy SEAL? Go to hell. Maya twisted harder. Already been there. Wasn't impressed. Answer the question. The door burst open. 2 SEALs flooded in, weapons drawn, followed by Agent Cross. Stand down, Phoenix, Cross shouted. We've got him. Maya released Vance, stepped back. Her hands were shaking now, adrenaline crash beginning. The SEALs grabbed Vance, slammed him against the wall, cuffed him with practiced efficiency. Cross approached Maya, lowered his weapon. You good? Define good. Maya leaned against the wall, breathing hard. I just assaulted someone in a hospital. You just stopped an assassination attempt. Cross holstered his weapon. There's a difference. Hayes tried to sit up, winced. Someone want to tell me why my nurse just went full Jason Bourne on my would-be killer? Because your nurse is Navy Special Warfare, Cross said. Or was. Call sign Phoenix. 3 combat deployments. More lives saved than most trauma surgeons see in a career. Hayes smiled despite the pain. I know who she is. I gave her that call sign. What I want to know is why someone's trying to kill me in a civilian hospital. Cross pulled out his phone, showed Hayes a photo. Recognize this? Hayes squinted at the screen. His face went pale. That's the hydraulic coupling from the stage collapse. But that's not structural failure, that's a remote-activated pressure device, military grade. Someone triggered it the moment you stepped on that platform. Cross swiped to another photo. And this is Marcus Vance, the man Phoenix just took down. Former Marine, dishonorably discharged for accepting bribes. Currently employed as a freelance contractor. Freelance contractor is a nice way of saying assassin, Maya said quietly. Who hired him? Hayes demanded. Cross's expression darkened. That's where it gets complicated. We've been tracking Sentinel defense contractors for 6 months. They're the ones who manufactured the defective comm equipment that got your team killed in Yemen. Maya's breath caught. Yemen. She remembered Yemen. 3 operators dead because their radios failed during an ambush. Hayes had been leading that operation. Hayes's voice went cold. I testified about that equipment, told Congress it was faulty, that it would get more people killed. And Sentinel lost a $2 billion contract because of your testimony, Cross said. Now you're scheduled to testify again next month about the new contract they're bidding on. $3 billion this time. So they tried to cripple me, make it look like an accident. Hayes's jaw clenched. Cowards. It gets worse. Cross looked at Maya. 5 years ago, Phoenix submitted a field report about the same equipment. Her report was the first documentation of the failures. It's the foundation of the entire case against Sentinel. Maya felt the walls closing in. My report was classified, sealed. How would they even know? Someone leaked it. Someone inside the Navy with high-level access. Cross pulled up another photo. And Vance just told us there are 3 more operatives in this hospital, waiting for their chance. Hayes tried to swing his legs off the bed. Then we need to move. Now. You just had surgery, Maya protested. You can't. I can, and I will. Because if they're willing to blow up a stage, implant assassins in a hospital, they're not going to stop. Hayes looked at Cross. Where's my team? Securing the perimeter, but Phoenix is right. You can't move yet. The surgeon said. An explosion shook the building. The lights flickered once, twice, then died. Emergency generators kicked in, bathing everything in red emergency lighting. Cross swore, grabbed his radio. Sit rep, what was that? Static. Then, power substation just went up. Someone planted charges. We're on backup generators now. Communications? Intermittent. Cell towers are jammed. Landlines cut. Hayes looked at Maya. Just like Helmand. Maya's mind flashed back. Forward operating base. Taliban assault. Power cut first. Communications second. Then the attack. They're isolating us, she said. Classic siege tactics. Cut power, cut comms, then move in when we're blind. Cross was already moving. We need to evacuate Hayes. Now. Negative. One of the SEALs in the doorway spoke up. Lieutenant Cole Bennett. Maya recognized him now from the earlier encounter. Hallways aren't secure. We'd be sitting ducks in the corridors. Then we fortify here, Hayes said. Make them come to us. This is a hospital, not a fire base, Cross argued. We have civilians, patients, which is exactly why we can't let armed hostiles roam free. Hayes swung his legs off the bed, ignoring everyone's protests. Bennett, I need a sit rep on our defensive position. Bennett moved to the window, scanning the parking lot below. 3 exits from this wing, 2 stairwells, 1 elevator. Elevator's useless without main power. Stairwells are choke points, good for defense, bad for escape. Surrounding buildings? Office complex to the east, residential to the west, parking structure to the south. Any one of them could be holding a sniper team. Maya felt her training clicking back into place, years of combat experience overriding 3 months of trying to forget. What about the roof? Helicopter pad, Bennett said, but without communications, we can't call for evac. Then we restore communications. Hayes looked at Cross. Where's the backup comm center? Basement level. But that's 4 floors down through unsecured corridors. Then we secure them. Hayes tried to stand, his injured leg buckling immediately. Maya caught him before he hit the floor. Sit down before you tear your sutures, she snapped. You're not leading any assault in your condition. Then what do you suggest? Maya looked at Bennett, at Cross, at the 2 other SEALs who'd entered the room. Her old life stared back at her, the life she'd tried so hard to leave behind. I'll go, she said quietly. Absolutely not, Hayes grabbed her arm. You're a nurse now. This isn't your fight. It became my fight the moment Vance tried to kill you with me standing there. Maya pulled free. And I'm not just a nurse, Commander. You said it yourself. I'm Navy Special Warfare. That doesn't go away just because I changed uniforms. Cross stepped forward. She's right. Phoenix has more combat experience than half my agents, and she knows this hospital better than any of us. I can get to the basement, Maya said. Restore communications. Call for real backup. Hayes studied her face. You swore you'd never go back. I'm not going back. I'm going down 4 floors to flip a switch. She met his eyes. Big difference. The hell there is. But Hayes was weakening. He knew they needed communications. He knew she was their best shot. Bennett handed Maya a radio. Channel 3. It's mostly static, but you might get through in short bursts. Weapon? Maya asked. Bennett hesitated, looked at Hayes. Hayes nodded once. Give her your backup. Bennett pulled a Glock 19 from his ankle holster, handed it to Maya. The weight felt wrong and familiar all at once. She checked the magazine, 15 rounds, chambered around, engaged the safety, tucked it into her waistband. Just like old times, Hayes said softly. This is nothing like old times. Maya moved toward the door. Old times, I had a team. Old times, I had air support. Old times, I had a reason to be there. You have a reason now. Patients in this hospital who'll die if those generators fail. Staff who have no idea they're in a war zone. And a commander who needs you to come back alive. Maya paused at the door. I always come back, Commander. You know that. I know you try. The words hit harder than any bullet. Maya slipped into the hallway. Red emergency lighting turned everything into a horror movie. Shadows stretched wrong. Normal sounds, monitors beeping, ventilators hissing, became sinister. She moved quietly, years of training making her footsteps silent. At the end of the hall, she paused, listening. Voices. 2 men speaking in hushed tones. Saw her go in there. Phoenix herself. You sure? Vance confirmed it before they grabbed him. Blonde, small, moves like a dancer. That's her. 2 million bonus if we take her alive. 3 if we take Hayes. Forget the bonus. I just want to get out of here. Maya recognized the voices. Hospital staff. Orderlies she'd worked alongside for 3 months. David and Marcus. They'd seemed nice, friendly, normal. Nothing was normal anymore. She waited until they moved past, then continued toward the stairwell. The door was propped open, fire code violation that probably saved her life. She slipped through without the telltale click of the latch. The stairwell was darker than the hallway. Emergency lights every other floor, barely enough to see by. Maya descended slowly, Glock held low and ready, finger outside the trigger guard. Safety protocols drilled into her until they were reflex. First floor landing, clear. Second floor, clear. Third floor, footsteps above her, running, multiple people. Maya pressed against the wall, making herself small. The footsteps got closer. 2 people, maybe 3, descending fast. They passed her position, not looking, focused on speed over stealth. Amateur mistake. Maya waited until they were 2 floors down before continuing. Basement level. The door was locked. Maya tried her ID badge. Red light. Access denied. Of course, they'd locked down the secure areas when the power failed. Smart. She pulled out the radio. Bennett, I'm at basement access. Doors locked. Static.
Bennett, do you copy?
More static, then fragments. Trying. Bypass. Not helpful. Maya studied the lock. Standard magnetic lock with manual override. She needed either a master key or... The door burst open from the inside. Dr. Marcus Chen stood there, holding a fire axe. They stared at each other. Maya? Chen's voice was confused. What are you doing down here with a gun? What are you doing down here with an axe? Someone's attacking the hospital. I came down to check the generators. He noticed the Glock. Why are you armed? Maya made a split-second decision. Because someone tried to kill Commander Hayes. Twice. And I'm not letting them try a third time. Chen's expression shifted. The commander. The one you saved. The one who called you Phoenix. Yes. And now someone's trying to kill him. Yes. Chen lowered the axe slightly. What do you need? Access to the communications center. I need to call for backup. It's through there. Chen pointed down the hallway. But the doors are on separate power grid. They'll be locked too. Can you override them? I'm a doctor, not a systems engineer. But you have a fire axe. Chen almost smiled. I have a fire axe. They moved together down the basement corridor. The emergency lighting down here was worse. Just dim safety strips along the baseboards. Their shadows loomed huge on the walls. Why did you really come down here? Maya asked quietly. I told you, to check the generators. With a fire axe. Chen was quiet for a moment. I heard the explosion. I saw armed men in the hallways, men I didn't recognize. And I thought, this is how it ends. Active shooter situation, mass casualty event. He gripped the axe tighter. I came down here to make sure the backup power stays on. Because if it fails, people on ventilators die. People in surgery die. People I'm responsible for die. Maya understood that. The weight of responsibility, the lives depending on you. I'm sorry I didn't tell you, she said. About my background, about who I was. Are you? Sorry? Maya considered that. No, I'm not sorry I left the military. I'm not sorry I tried to start over. I'm only sorry it didn't work. Maybe it did work. You saved Hayes. You stopped an assassin. You're down here trying to save the whole hospital. Chen looked at her. That sounds like it worked to me. They reached the communications center door. Locked, as expected. Chen raised the axe. Stand back. 3 swings. The lock shattered. The door swung open. Inside, the room was chaos. Equipment racks flashing error codes. Monitors dark. A single technician lay on the floor, unconscious, bleeding from a head wound. Maya rushed to him, checked his pulse. Still alive, concussed, maybe skull fracture. I'll stabilize him. Chen pulled out his phone, using the light to examine the wound. You handle the equipment. Maya turned to the communications rack. She'd trained on similar systems. Military comm centers use the same basic architecture as civilian ones. Find the main relay, reset the connection, restore the signal. She found the main panel. Someone had physically cut the cables, not just damaged them, cut them with precision. Chen, do you have any medical tape? What? Medical tape, the waterproof kind. Chen tossed her a roll. Maya stripped the cut cable ends, twisted the wires together, wrapped them in tape. It was crude, temporary, but it might work. She flipped the main breaker. Nothing. She tried the backup breaker. Still nothing. Come on, she muttered. Work, damn it. A monitor flickered to life. Then another. Static filled the speakers, then cleared. Repeat, this is Mercy General Hospital. We are under attack, requesting immediate assistance. The recorded emergency message. Playing on loop. Maya grabbed the microphone. This is Nurse Maya Reeves, Mercy General Hospital. We have multiple hostile contacts inside the building. Commander Jackson Hayes is the primary target. We need tactical support. We need evacuation. We need it now. Static. Then, copy that, Mercy General. This is Metro SWAT. We've been trying to reach you for 20 minutes. What's your situation? Maya almost cried with relief. We have at least 4 hostiles, possibly more. They've sabotaged our power, cut our communications. We have a high-value military target they're trying to eliminate. How many casualties? Maya looked at Chen, who was stabilizing the unconscious technician. Unknown. We've been focused on securing the target. I need a tactical team in here now. Team is assembling. ETA 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Might as well be 15 hours. Understood. We'll hold position. Copy. Stay safe. The line went dead. Maya turned to Chen. We need to get back upstairs. Warn Hayes. You go. I'll stay with this patient. Chen, there are armed hostiles, and there's a man with a skull fracture who'll die if I leave him. Chen's voice was firm. You're the warrior, Maya. I'm the doctor. We both have our jobs. Maya wanted to argue, but he was right. She moved back into the hallway, weapon ready. The sound of gunfire echoed from somewhere above, distant but getting closer. Maya ran for the stairs. She made it to the second floor before she heard voices again, not whispered this time. Loud, confident. Confirmed Phoenix is in the building. Vance failed, but we won't. What about Hayes? Once we get Phoenix, Hayes is easy. He's immobilized, injured. We walk in, finish the job. And the SEALs? 4 of them. We're 12. Math is simple. Maya's blood ran cold. 12 hostiles, 4 SEALs, and Hayes unable to move. She keyed her radio. Bennett, do you copy? Nothing but static. She tried again. Hayes, if you can hear me, you have 12 hostiles inbound. I repeat, 12. A hand clamped over her mouth. Another grabbed her wrist, twisting the gun away. Maya drove her elbow back, connected with ribs. The grip loosened. She spun, bringing her knee up. Her attacker grunted, stumbled back. She saw his face in the red emergency lighting. Young, maybe 25. Hospital security uniform. She'd seen him before. Bradley. Brad. He'd always smiled at her during shift changes. He wasn't smiling now. Sorry, Maya. He pulled his own weapon. Orders are orders. From who? People who pay better than this hospital. He aimed at her chest. Nothing personal. Maya dove as he fired. The bullet sparked off the stairwell railing where her head had been. She rolled, came up with the Glock, fired twice. Brad went down. Maya's ears rang from the gunfire in the enclosed space. She checked Brad, still breathing, hit in the shoulder and leg. Non-lethal shots. Her training holding, even now. She grabbed his radio. Phoenix engaged on second floor. Send backup. Copy. Team 2 responding. Maya ran up the stairs, taking them 3 at a time. Her lungs burned. Her injured ribs from Vance's earlier elbow screamed. She ignored it all. Third floor landing. The door burst open. 2 men in tactical gear rushed through. Not hospital staff, professional contractors. Body armor, automatic weapons, night vision goggles. Maya fired. 1 round caught the first man in the throat, above his vest. He went down choking. The second returned fire. Bullets tore through the stairwell. Maya pressed against the wall, feeling the rounds pass inches from her face. She leaned out, fired 3 quick shots. The second man's knee exploded. He screamed, fell. Maya ran past them both, burst through the 4th floor door. The hallway was a war zone. 2 SEALs were down, wounded but alive. Bennett and another SEAL, Daniels, Maya remembered, were pinned behind a nurse's station, trading fire with at least 6 hostiles. Hayes's room was 50 feet away, might as well be a mile. Maya assessed the situation in seconds. The hostiles had superior firepower in numbers, but they were bunched together using civilian cover, bad tactics in a hospital where walls were drywall, not concrete. She pulled the fire alarm. Sprinklers erupted. Water poured from the ceiling. Visibility dropped to near zero. Maya moved through the chaos like a ghost. She'd trained for this. close quarters combat in limited visibility. Her instructors had made her fight blind, fight underwater, fight in smoke so thick you couldn't see your own hands. She came up behind the first hostile, took him down with a strike to the kidney and a chokehold. He went limp. She took his weapon, an MP5 submachine gun, dropped her empty Glock. Second hostile turned, saw her, raised his rifle. Bennett's shot took him in the chest. "Phoenix! On your six!" Maya spun. A hostile was aiming at her head. She dove. His shot went wide. She rolled, came up firing. The MP5 bucked in her hands. The hostile went down. The sprinklers cut off as suddenly as they'd started. Emergency systems shutting down to conserve power. Silence. Maya counted bodies. 6 hostiles down. Bennett and Daniels were still standing, wounded but functional. The 2 other SEALs were being treated by a nurse who'd appeared from somewhere, hands shaking but determined. "Hayes," Maya gasped. "Room's secure. He's fine." Bennett lowered his weapon. That was insane. That was necessary. Maya moved toward Hayes' room, Bennett covering her. Inside, Hayes sat up in bed, holding a pistol one of the SEALs had given him. He lowered it when he saw Maya. "You look like hell," he said. "Feel worse." Maya collapsed into a chair. "Metro SWAT is 15 minutes out. We just need to hold until then." "You restored comms." "I restored comms," Hayes smiled. "Still Phoenix, still saving lives. Still Commander, still making terrible jokes while people shoot at you." The moment of levity died when Cross burst into the room. "We've got a problem." "Another one?" Maya couldn't keep the exhaustion out of her voice. "The hostiles aren't trying to kill Hayes anymore. They're trying to extract him." Hayes sat up straighter. "Extract me? Why?" "Because alive, you're worth more. They can interrogate you, find out what you're planning to testify about. Who else knows? What evidence exists?" Cross pulled out his phone, showed them surveillance footage. "This was taken 30 minutes ago, 3 blocks from here." The video showed a black van, military grade, and inside, equipment, lots of equipment. "That's a mobile interrogation unit," Hayes said quietly. "I've seen them before. Black sites, enhanced interrogation." "Torture," Maya said flatly. "Enhanced interrogation," Cross repeated, "and it's headed here, which means the attack wasn't about killing Hayes. It was about softening our defenses so they could grab him." Bennett swore. "We can't hold against a dedicated extraction team, not with 2 men down and limited ammunition." "Then we evacuate," Maya stood. "We get Hayes out before they arrive." "Evacuate where?" Cross demanded. "They've got eyes on all the exits. The moment we move Hayes, they'll know." "Then we don't use the exits." Maya walked to the window, looked out at the darkness, the office building across the street, 50 feet away, connected to the hospital by an old sky bridge that had been closed years ago. "No," Hayes said immediately. "Absolutely not. It's the only way. That bridge hasn't been used in a decade. It's probably structurally unsound. And even if we make it across, then what? We're trapped in an office building with no backup and hostiles between us and escape. Better than being here when they break through." Maya turned across. "Can Metro SWAT meet us in the office building?" "Maybe, if we can get you there alive." Bennett was already moving. "I'll scout the bridge, see if it's even possible." He disappeared. 30 seconds later, his voice crackled over the radio. "Bridge is intact, dusty, but structural supports look solid. We can do this." Hayes looked at Maya. "You're sure about this?" "I'm not sure about anything, but staying here guarantees they get you. Moving gives us a chance. A chance to fall 4 stories when that bridge collapses. Then don't fall." "Despite everything," Hayes laughed, "you always make it sound so simple." "It is simple. We move, we survive. We stay, we die." Maya held out her hand. "Trust me, Commander. One more time." Hayes took her hand. "One more time. They moved fast. Bennett and Daniels carried Hayes between them. Maya took point. Cross covered the rear. The two wounded SEALs stayed behind, holding the position, buying them time. The old Skybridge access was through a maintenance door that hadn't been opened in years. Maya shouldered it open, dust and rust showering down. Beyond was darkness. The bridge stretched across empty air, glass walls on both sides, floor that looked disturbingly fragile. "Okay," Maya admitted. "This might have been a bad idea." "Now you tell me," Hayes muttered. No time for second thoughts. Voices behind them. Footsteps running. The extraction team was close. Maya stepped onto the bridge first. The floor creaked but held. She moved forward, testing each step. Behind her, Bennett and Daniels carried Hayes. Cross followed, weapon ready. They made it 10 feet, 20, 30. Gunfire erupted behind them. The extraction team had breached Hayes's room. They'd figure out where he went in seconds. "Move faster," Cross shouted. They did. The bridge swayed with their movement. Glass cracked. Metal groaned. 40 feet, 50, almost there. Behind them, the extraction team appeared in the doorway. Flashlights swept the bridge. They're on the bridge." Bullets shattered glass. Maya felt shards cut her face, her arms. She didn't stop, couldn't stop. 60 feet, 70, the end of the bridge. The office building access door. Locked. "Of course it's locked," Maya growled. She raised the MP5, fired at the lock mechanism. Once, twice, 3 times. The lock exploded. She kicked the door open. "Go, go, go!" Bennett and Daniels carried Hayes through. Cross followed. Maya turned, provided covering fire as the extraction team advanced onto the bridge. Her magazine ran dry. She sprinted for the door. Behind her, the bridge gave a tortured groan of metal. She dove through the doorway as the entire structure collapsed. The sound was deafening. Glass and steel crashing down 4 stories. Screams from the extraction team members who'd been on the bridge. Maya lay on the floor of the office building, gasping. Her ears rang. Her whole body hurt. Hayes's voice cut through the noise. "Everyone alive?" "Barely," Bennett gasped. "Phoenix?" Maya forced herself to sit up. "Still here, Commander." "Good, because I think we just made them really angry." Through the dust and chaos, Maya heard it. More footsteps, more voices, the extraction team regrouping. They'd lost the bridge, but not their determination. And now Maya and her small group were trapped in an abandoned office building with limited ammunition, no backup, and an enemy who wanted Hayes alive at any cost. She checked her remaining weapons. 1 magazine left for the MP5, maybe 20 rounds. "Cross, where's our SWAT backup?" Cross checked his phone. 10 minutes, maybe less. 10 minutes, an eternity in combat. The building's emergency exit door burst open. The first extraction team member through died instantly. Bennett's shot was perfect. The second threw a flashbang. The world exploded in light and sound. Maya couldn't see, couldn't hear, could barely think. But training took over. She rolled left, fired blind, felt the MP5 bucking in her hands. When her vision cleared, 3 more extraction team members were down, and there were more coming. Always more coming. This was it, Maya realized. This was how it ended. Not in Helmand Province, not on some distant battlefield, but in an abandoned office building in San Diego, protecting a commander she'd saved before and would save again until one of them stopped breathing. She reloaded her last magazine. "Phoenix," Hayes's voice was calm. "It's been an honor." "Shut up, Commander, we're not done yet." "I know, but just in case, we're not done." The extraction team charged. Maya met them at the door, firing until her weapon clicked empty, then using it as a club, then her fists, then anything she could grab. She fought like the warrior she'd always been, the warrior she'd tried to stop being, the warrior she'd never stopped being even when she changed uniforms and called herself a nurse. And somewhere in the chaos, through the smoke and blood and violence, she heard it. Sirens. Lots of sirens. The cavalry had arrived. The sirens grew louder, but the extraction team didn't retreat. They pushed harder, desperate to grab Hayes before law enforcement arrived. Maya swung the empty MP5 like a bat, connected with a jaw. The contractor went down. Another grabbed her from behind. She drove her head back into his nose, felt the crunch, twisted free. "Phoenix, down!" Bennett's voice cut through the chaos. Maya dropped. Gunfire erupted over her head. The contractor who'd grabbed her collapsed. She scrambled toward Hayes, blood streaming from a cut above her eye. "We need to move deeper into the building. They're trying to pin us here." "Where?" Cross fired 3 rounds, dropped another attacker. "This whole floor is open office space. No cover, no defensive positions." "Then we go up," Maya pointed to the stairwell. "Higher floors, harder for them to assault. Buys us time until SWAT gets here." Hayes tried to stand, his injured leg buckled. "I'm slowing you down. Leave me. Get out." "Not happening." Maya grabbed his arm, pulled it over her shoulder. "Bennett, help me." Together they hauled Hayes toward the stairwell. Cross and Daniels laid down covering fire. The extraction team hesitated, regrouping. They made it to the stairs, started climbing. Hayes grunted with each step, pain breaking through his control. "Talk to me, Commander," Maya said, keeping him moving. "Tell me about your testimony. What's so important they're willing to kill for it?" Hayes gasped out words between breaths. "New contract, tactical communication system. Sentinel Defense built it. Same company that built the faulty equipment that killed my team in Yemen. And you have proof they knew it was faulty?" "Internal emails, engineering reports. They knew the radios would fail in desert heat, knew the encryption was breakable. Sold them anyway because the contract was worth billions." They reached the second-floor landing. Cross-checked the door, shook his head. "Locked. Keep moving." Third floor, same story. Fourth floor, the door opened. They pushed through into darkness. This floor was under renovation, plastic sheeting everywhere, exposed wiring, construction equipment scattered around. "This'll work." Bennett helped lower Hayes behind a stack of drywall. "Defensible position, multiple exit routes if we need them." Maya checked Hayes's leg, blood soaked through the bandages. "You tore your sutures. Add it to the bill." Hayes's face was pale, sweating. "How long until SWAT arrives?" Cross checked his phone. 5 minutes, maybe less. They'll move fast now. 5 minutes is all they need." Hayes looked at Maya. "You should go. Get out while you can. This isn't your fight anymore." "You keep saying that. I keep not listening." "Maya." "Phoenix," she met his eyes. "If we're fighting together, use my call sign." That's who I am right now. Not Maya the nurse. Phoenix the medic. The one who doesn't leave her people behind. Hayes held her gaze for a long moment, then nodded. "Phoenix." Footsteps echoed in the stairwell. Multiple people, moving fast but cautious. Bennett positioned himself by the door, weapon ready. Daniels took the opposite corner. Cross stayed with Hayes. Maya grabbed a length of metal pipe from the construction debris, tested its weight. "When they come through that door," she said quietly, "they're expecting resistance. So we give them something unexpected." "Which is?" Bennett asked. "Me." Maya moved to stand directly in front of the door, pipe held loosely at her side. "Unarmed woman. Alone. Scared. They'll hesitate. That hesitation gets them killed." "That's insane," Cross protested. "That's tactics." Maya's voice was cold, professional. "I've done this before. Helmand Province. Pretended to be a wounded civilian. Taliban rushed in to grab me. My team eliminated 6 hostiles in under 10 seconds. Hayes remembered. "You got shot doing that." "I got grazed. Big difference." "You also swore you'd never do it again." "I swear a lot of things. Doesn't mean they stick." Maya positioned herself, let her shoulders slump, made herself look smaller, weaker. "On my mark. 3, 2. The door burst open. Two contractors rushed through, weapons raised. They saw Maya, alone, unarmed, saw her stumble backward, saw what they expected to see, a terrified woman. They didn't see Bennett and Daniels in the corners. 4 shots, both contractors down. But more were coming. The stairwell echoed with footsteps. "Fall back!" Maya grabbed a contractor's dropped rifle, fired a burst into the stairwell. "We can't hold this position." They retreated deeper into the construction zone, haze between Bennett and Daniels, Maya and Cross providing cover. The plastic sheeting made everything surreal. Shadows moving behind translucent barriers, impossible to tell what was real and what was reflection. A contractor burst through the sheeting to Maya's left. She fired. He went down. Another came from the right. Cross got him. But they were being herded, pushed toward the far corner of the building, running out of room to retreat. "We're trapped," Daniel said what everyone was thinking. Maya's mind raced. Think. There's always an exit, always a way out. What would her instructors say? When trapped in a kill box, create chaos. Make the enemy react instead of act. She looked up. Exposed ceiling beams. Support cables for the renovation work. And suspended from those cables, a heavy equipment platform. "Cross, can you shoot out those support cables?" Cross followed her gaze. "You want to drop that platform? Right on their heads when they come through." "That's insane." "You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means." Maya positioned herself. "Just shoot the cables when I say." She didn't wait for agreement. She stepped out from cover, fired a burst toward the approaching contractors, then ducked back. They returned fire, advancing, thinking they had her pinned. "Now!" Cross fired. Once, twice. The support cable snapped. The heavy platform crashed down with a sound like thunder. Screams cut off abruptly. Dust and debris filled the air. In the chaos, Maya moved. She grabbed Hayes's arm. "We're going out the window." "We're 4 floors up." "Fire escape. I saw it when we came in. Southwest corner." She was already moving, Bennett and Daniels following with Hayes between them. They found the window. Maya smashed it with her rifle butt, cleared the glass. Outside, the fire escape clung to the building like a rusty skeleton. "That thing looks like it'll collapse if we breathe on it," Daniel said. "Then don't breathe." Maya climbed through first, tested the metal platform. It groaned, but held. "Come on!" Hayes went through next, helped by Bennett. Cross followed. Daniels brought up the rear. They descended 1 level. The metal screamed with each step, rivets popping, the whole structure swaying. Below them, the street was chaos. Metro SWAT had arrived, black vehicles everywhere, officers setting up perimeters. But they were focused on the hospital, not the office building. "Cross, can you signal them?" Maya asked. Cross pulled out his phone, activated the flashlight, started signaling in Morse code. SOS. Building. Hostiles. Evacuate. A SWAT officer looked up, saw them, started shouting orders. That's when the fire escape groaned one final time and tore away from the building. Maya grabbed the window ledge as the platform tilted. Her fingers found purchase on crumbling brick. Hayes slid toward the edge. Bennett grabbed him. Daniels caught Cross. They hung there, suspended between floors, the fire escape dangling at a crazy angle. "Don't move!" the SWAT officer below shouted. "We're getting a ladder." A gunshot rang out. Brick exploded next to Maya's hand. The extraction team had reached the window above them. "We can't wait for a ladder." Maya looked down. 15 feet to the next platform. Doable if you didn't mind potentially breaking both legs. "Phoenix, no." Hayes read her intention. "You'll never make it." "Watch me." Maya let go. She fell, hit the platform below, rolled to absorb the impact. Her ankle screamed. Probably sprained, possibly fractured. Didn't matter. "Come on!" She reached up. "I'll catch you." More gunshots from above. The contractors were leaning out, trying for kill shots. Hayes went next. Maya caught him, his weight driving her to her knees. Bennett dropped down, then Daniels, then Cross. The platform they just left exploded in a hail of gunfire. "Move, move, move!" Cross shouted. They descended the last 2 levels at a run, jumping the final distance to the ground just as SWAT officers surrounded them. "Commander Jackson Hayes," Cross gasped. "Navy SEAL, primary target. These men saved his life." A SWAT lieutenant stepped forward. "Sir, we need to get you to safety. There are still hostiles in both buildings." "My team," Hayes said. 2 SEALs wounded in the hospital. Recovery wing, 4th floor. "We've already secured them. They're being evacuated now." The lieutenant signaled his team. "Let's move. Armored vehicle, now." They were hustled toward a black SWAT van. Maya's ankle gave out. She stumbled. Bennett caught her. "You're hurt." "I'm functional." She forced herself to keep moving. They reached the van, climbed inside. The doors slammed. The vehicle accelerated away from the chaos. Inside, finally, they could breathe. Hayes leaned back, eyes closed. "Everyone alive?" "Somehow," Bennett said. "Phoenix?" Maya was examining her ankle, trying to determine if it was broken or just badly sprained. "Still here, Commander." "You jumped off a fire escape." "You noticed that, did you?" "Kind of hard to miss." Hayes opened his eyes, looked at her. "You're insane." "You're welcome." Despite everything, he laughed, then winced. "Don't make me laugh. Hurts too much." The van pulled into a secure facility, looked like a federal building, lots of concrete and security cameras. They were ushered inside, through corridors, into what looked like a command center. Agent David Cross was there, along with a woman in a Navy captain's uniform and 2 men in expensive suits who screamed, "Federal prosecutor." The woman stepped forward. "Commander Hayes, I'm Captain Elizabeth Morrison, JAG Corps. Are you injured?" "Nothing life-threatening." "Good, because we need your testimony, now. The hearing has been moved up. Sentinel Defense got wind of tonight's events. They're trying to destroy evidence as we speak." Hayes straightened despite his pain. "I'm ready." "Not here," one of the prosecutors spoke up. "We've arranged a secure video link to the Senate Armed Services Committee. They're convening an emergency session. If we can get your testimony on record in the next 2 hours, we can freeze Sentinel's assets, prevent them from destroying evidence." 2 hours? Hayes looked at Maya, at his torn bandages, his pale face. "I need medical attention first." "We have a medical team standing by," Morrison said. "They'll patch you up while you testify." "That's not protocol." "Nothing about tonight has been protocol, Commander." Morrison's voice was steel. "But if we don't act now, Sentinel walks. The people who killed your team in Yemen walk. The people who tried to kill you tonight walk. Is that acceptable?" Hayes's jaw clenched. "No, ma'am." "Then let's proceed." They were taken to a smaller room, cameras and monitors everywhere. A medic appeared, started working on Hayes's leg, while technicians set up the video feed. Maya stood by the wall, trying to stay out of the way. Her ankle throbbed. Her whole body hurt. She wanted nothing more than to sleep for a week. Captain Morrison approached her. "You're Sergeant Maya Reeves, call sign Phoenix." "Was Sergeant, I'm a civilian now." "A civilian who saved a Navy SEAL's life 3 times in one night. A civilian with extensive combat experience and medical training." Morrison studied her. "We could use someone like you." "I left the military for a reason." "I know, PTSD, couldn't handle the stress anymore. That's what your file says." Morrison lowered her voice. "But tonight you handled more stress than most operators see in their entire careers. So either you've healed, or you were never as broken as you thought." The words hit like a punch. "I'm not interested in rejoining. I'm not asking you to. But what you did tonight, saving Hayes, restoring communications, holding off an extraction team, that matters. That testimony Hayes is about to give, it only happens because you kept him alive. The justice that's coming for Sentinel, you made that possible." Maya didn't know what to say to that. The video feed connected. Senators appeared on screen, tired but alert. It was past midnight in Washington, but they were all there. "Commander Hayes," the committee chairman said, "thank you for making yourself available under these extraordinary circumstances. We understand you've been the target of multiple assassination attempts tonight." "Yes, sir. Attempts that failed because of the people in this room." Hayes glanced at Maya. "Particularly one former Navy medic who refused to let me die even when I told her to run. We'll want to speak with her as well. But first, your testimony. You have evidence that Sentinel Defense knowingly sold defective equipment to Special Operations units?" "Yes, sir. I have internal emails, engineering reports, and testimony from 3 former Sentinel employees who've agreed to cooperate." "Proceed." For the next 90 minutes, Hayes laid it all out. The faulty radios, the encryption that Taliban fighters had cracked, the overheating batteries that failed in desert conditions, and most damning, the emails proving Sentinel's executives knew about every single flaw and buried the reports to protect their profits. Maya watched senators' faces go from skeptical to shocked to furious. When Hayes finished, the chairman spoke quietly. "Commander, on behalf of this committee and the United States Senate, thank you for your service, and thank you for your courage in coming forward. We'll be issuing arrest warrants within the hour." The feed cut. Hayes slumped back, exhausted. The medic finished bandaging his leg. "You did good, Commander," Morrison said. "Phoenix did good. I just talked." Hayes looked at Maya. "They want to interview you next." "No." "Phoenix, I said no. You gave your testimony. You did what you needed to do. I'm done." Maya moved toward the door. Her ankle nearly gave out again. She caught herself on the wall. Morrison stepped into her path. "Ms. Reeves, your testimony could strengthen the case significantly. You were the first to document the equipment failures. Your field reports are sealed and classified, and I will not discuss them in an open hearing." Maya's voice was hard. "I did my job tonight. I kept Commander Hayes alive. But I am not a whistleblower. I am not a star witness. I am not anything except a nurse who wants to go back to her hospital and do her job." "The hospital was evacuated," Cross said quietly. "It's a crime scene now. You won't be going back there tonight." Maya closed her eyes. Of course. Everything was evidence now. Everything was part of the investigation. "Then I'll go home. We can't guarantee your safety." "I don't recall asking for guarantees." "Phoenix," Hayes' voice stopped her. "They tried to kill you too, multiple times. You think they'll just let you walk away?" "I think they've got bigger problems now. Arrest warrants, Senate investigations. They won't waste resources on a nurse who isn't testifying. You're not just a nurse, you're a witness. And witnesses have a habit of dying in their sleep when people like Sentinel are involved." Maya turned to face him. "So what do you suggest, Commander? Witness protection? A new identity? Running for the rest of my life?" Her voice cracked. "I already ran once. From the military, from the war, from everything I used to be. I'm not running again." "Then don't run. Fight." Hayes struggled to his feet, waved off the medic's protests. "You fought for me tonight, for my team, for justice. Keep fighting. Help us bury these bastards so they can't hurt anyone else." "I'm not a fighter anymore." "The hell you're not." Hayes limped toward her. "You jumped off a fire escape. You took down trained contractors with a metal pipe. You're the best fighter I've ever served with, and I've served with the best." Maya felt tears burning her eyes. She couldn't let them fall. "I became a nurse to stop fighting." "No, you became a nurse to fight differently, to save lives instead of taking them. But tonight, you did both, and you were brilliant at it." Hayes took her hand. "The people who killed my team in Yemen, they're still out there, running Sentinel, making billions, selling more defective equipment that will get more operators killed. You can stop that. Your testimony, combined with mine, buries them forever." "And if I say no?" Hayes was quiet for a moment. Then I respect that. You've already given more than anyone has a right to ask. But those operators who'll die because of faulty equipment, they'll die without ever knowing someone could have saved them, but chose not to. It was a low blow and they both knew it. It also worked. Damn you, Maya whispered. Frequently. Hayes squeezed her hand. Is that a yes? Maya looked around the room. Cross, watching carefully. Morrison, hopeful. The prosecutors practically salivating at the prospect of another witness. Bennett and Daniels, wounded but standing, waiting to see what Phoenix would choose. She thought about the operators who died in Yemen, about the faulty radios that had failed when they needed them most, about the families who'd been told their sons and husbands and fathers had died in combat, when really they died because of corporate greed. She thought about the nurse she tried to become, quiet, invisible, safe. That nurse had died tonight somewhere between the hospital and the fire escape. I'll testify, she said, but I have conditions. Morrison stepped forward. Name them. 1. I testify via closed circuit. No cameras, no press, no public record. This stays classified. Agreed. 2. After this is over, you leave me alone. No recruitment pitches, no job offers, no attempts to bring me back into any military or intelligence capacity. Agreed. 3. I want protection for the hospital staff. For Dr. Mitchell, for Patricia, for Chen, for everyone who helped tonight. Sentinel might target them too. We can arrange that. Maya took a breath. Then let's get this over with. The video feed reconnected. Different senators this time, members of the Intelligence Committee joining the Armed Services Committee. More serious faces, deeper security clearances. Ms. Reeves, the chairman said, or should I say, Sergeant Reeves? Call sign Phoenix? Maya is fine. Maya, we understand you were embedded with SEAL Team 3 during Operation Red Serpent. Is that correct? Yes, sir. And during that operation, you documented equipment failures that later became the basis for the investigation into Sentinel defense? Yes, sir. Tell us what you saw. So Maya told them. She told them about the radios that cut out in the middle of firefights, about the batteries that overheated and exploded, burning operators' hands, about the encryption that Taliban fighters cracked, leading to ambushes because the enemy knew exactly where American forces would be. She told them about the 3 operators who died because their calls for air support never got through, about the medic who'd been killed trying to reach them because his GPS unit gave coordinates that were off by 200 meters. She told them about filing report after report, flagging the equipment as defective, begging for replacements, and about being told the equipment was fine. The failures were operator error. She needed to stop making waves. Who told you to stop making waves? A senator asked. Maya pulled up a name from memory. Lieutenant Colonel Richard Voss. He said Sentinel was a major contractor, that questioning their equipment damaged military-corporate relations. And where is Lieutenant Colonel Voss now? Cross spoke up. He retired from the military 2 years ago. He's now Vice President of Government Relations at Sentinel Defense. Salary, $800,000 annually. Stunned silence. Another senator leaned forward. Ms. Reeves, in your professional opinion, did Sentinel Defense knowingly sell defective equipment to United States Special Operations Forces? Yes, sir. Now they were on record, part of congressional testimony, evidence in what would become the biggest military procurement scandal in decades. Hayes approached, moving carefully on his injured leg. You okay? No, but I will be. You just changed history, you know. That testimony will save lives, hundreds of lives, maybe thousands. Or it'll get me killed. Not on my watch. Hayes smiled. Besides, you're Phoenix, you don't die. You just keep coming back. Before Maya could respond, Cross's phone rang. He answered, listened, his face going pale. When? How many? He hung up, looked at Morrison. We have a problem. Sentinel's CEO just fled the country. Private jet to Dubai. He took 6 company executives with him. Morrison swore. Dubai doesn't have an extradition treaty. It gets worse. Before he left, he issued a standing contract. $2 million for Commander Hayes, $3 million for Phoenix, dead or alive. The room went silent. So they can't get to us legally, Hayes said quietly. So they'll do it illegally. Send contractors, mercenaries, anyone willing to kill for money. We can protect you, Morrison started. For how long? Weeks? Months? Years? Hayes shook his head. Sentinel has billions. They can outlast any protection detail. Maya felt the weight settling on her shoulders. She'd testified. She'd done the right thing. And now she had a price on her head. There's another option, Cross said carefully. We fake your deaths, both of you. Officially, you die from injuries sustained in tonight's attack. We give you new identities, relocate you somewhere safe. Witness protection, Maya said flatly. Enhanced witness protection. New names, new backgrounds, new lives. Hayes looked at Maya. What do you think? Maya thought about her apartment, her job at Mercy General, her therapist appointments and her routine and her careful, constructed life as a civilian. All of it was gone now anyway. How long? She asked Cross. Until we can arrest the CEO and executives. Until the contracts are canceled. Until it's safe. Cross paused. Could be months. Could be years. Could be never, Maya said. Could be never, Cross agreed. Hayes straightened. I'm not running. I'm not hiding. I'm a Navy SEAL. If they want me, they can try to take me. But I'm not going to live my life looking over my shoulder. Noble, Morrison said. Also stupid. You'd be dead within a week. Maybe, but I'd die as myself. Not as some fake identity in some nowhere town. Maya understood that. The pride, the refusal to run. She'd felt the same way once. But she'd also learned something Hayes hadn't yet. Pride didn't stop bullets. I'll do it, she said quietly. Witness protection, new identity, whatever it takes. Hayes stared at her. Phoenix, don't try to talk me out of it. Maya met his eyes. You can afford to be proud, Commander. You have a team, resources, the full backing of the United States Navy. I have a nursing degree in PTSD. If Sentinel sends contractors after me, I die. Simple as that. You took down a dozen contractors tonight. With help, with backup, with you and Bennett and the SEALs. Maya's voice broke. Alone, I'm just a target. And I'm tired of being a target. I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of running. I just want to disappear and be nobody for a while. The truth of it hung in the air. Hayes stepped closer. If you do this, we'll probably never see each other again. I know. Everything we've been through, everything tonight meant, just gone. Not gone, just finished. Maya managed a smile. You saved my life once, Commander. I saved yours 3 times. I'd say we're even. We'll never be even. Hayes pulled her into a hug, careful of both their injuries. Thank you, Phoenix, for everything. Maya hugged him back, letting herself have this one moment of weakness. Take care of yourself, Commander. Don't get shot. No promises. They separated. Cross was already making phone calls, arranging transportation, new documents, a whole new life for Maya Reeves, the woman who would cease to exist by morning. Captain Morrison approached Maya. You're making the right choice. Doesn't feel right. Feels like giving up. It's not giving up, it's surviving. And survival is its own kind of victory. Maya wanted to believe that. But as she watched Hayes being escorted out by his security detail, as she prepared to step into a new identity and leave everything behind again, all she felt was tired. So incredibly tired. Cross came back. Car's ready. We need to move. There's already chatter on dark web forums about the contracts on you and Hayes. How long before we leave? Now. We have maybe an hour before every mercenary and contractor in California starts hunting you. Maya nodded. She had nothing to pack anyway. Everything she owned was in her apartment, which she'd never see again. Let's go. They walked through corridors, down to a parking garage where an unmarked sedan waited. Cross held the door. Maya climbed in. The car started to pull away. That's when the explosion hit. The shockwave threw Maya against the car door. Her ears rang. Smoke poured through the parking garage. The sedan's engine died, windshield spiderwebbed with cracks. Out! Get out! Cross kicked his door open, weapon drawn. Maya fumbled with her seatbelt, fingers numb. The explosion had come from behind them, where they'd just been. The federal building entrance was now a crater of twisted metal and concrete. She stumbled out of the car. Her injured ankle screamed. She ignored it. Where did that come from? She scanned the garage, looking for threats. Car bomb, probably triggered remotely when we passed. Cross grabbed her arm. We need to move. If they've got eyes on us, they'll send a follow-up team. They ran toward the exit ramp. Maya's ankle nearly gave out twice. She forced herself to keep moving. Behind them, alarms blared. Sprinklers activated. Water mixed with smoke created a choking fog. Cross, they knew we'd be here. They knew exactly when we'd leave. I know. That means someone told them, someone inside. Cross didn't respond, but his grip on her arm tightened. They reached the exit. Cross's phone buzzed. He checked it, face going pale. What? Hayes's convoy was just hit. RPG attack on the highway. His vehicle is disabled. Maya's blood went cold. Is he alive? Unknown. Radio contact lost. Cross pulled her toward a different vehicle, a black SUV. Get in, we're going to him. That's what they want. Draw us out, hit us together. I don't care what they want. Hayes is down, and we're his only backup close enough to help. Cross started the engine. You coming or not? Maya climbed in. They roared out of the garage into San Diego's night streets. Few cars this late. Cross pushed the SUV to 80, running red lights, weaving through intersections. How far? 3 miles, Interstate 5, northbound. Cross handed her his backup weapon. You remember how to shoot? Some things you don't forget. Maya checked the magazine, chambered around. What's our plan? Get there, assess situation, extract Hayes. That's not a plan, that's a wish. It's all we've got. They hit the highway. Maya saw it immediately, black smoke rising from the shoulder. 3 vehicles stopped, 2 security SUVs, and Hayes's armored transport in the middle. The lead SUV was on fire. Bodies on the ground, not moving. Oh God, Maya whispered. Cross slowed as they approached, scanning for threats. Stay sharp, this could be an ambush. They stopped 50 yards back. Cross killed the engine. Silence except for the crackling fire and distant sirens. Hayes, Cross shouted. Commander Hayes, sound off. Nothing. Maya opened her door. I'm going to check the vehicle. Wait for backup. Backup might be dead. Maya was already moving, weapon up, eyes scanning. Cover me. She approached the armored transport. Driver's door hung open. Driver slumped over the wheel, blood everywhere. Passenger side, another security officer, also dead. Rear compartment, the door was ajar. Empty. Cross, he's gone. What do you mean gone? I mean the vehicle is empty. Hayes isn't here. Maya checked the ground. Blood trail leading away from the vehicle, into the darkness beyond the highway shoulder. Cross joined her. He got out, either on his own or someone took him. The blood says he was hurt. Bad. Maya followed the trail with her eyes. It led down an embankment toward an industrial area below. They dragged him. Or he crawled. Maya started down the embankment. Cross grabbed her shoulder. Phoenix, this is too convenient. Attack happens exactly when we're close enough to respond. Hayes disappears exactly when we'd rush to help. It's a trap. I know it's a trap. I'm going anyway. That's insane. We've established that about me. Maya pulled free, started down. Her ankle nearly gave out on the steep slope. She half slid, half ran down the embankment. At the bottom, warehouses. Old, abandoned, perfect for an ambush. The blood trail led to a side door, partially open. Maya paused, listening. Inside, voices. Two men, speaking quietly. Should have killed him in the vehicle. Orders were to bring him alive. The CEO wants to make an example. Broadcast it, show what happens to whistleblowers. And the woman? Phoenix? She'll come for him. She always does. That's when we take her. Maya's jaw clenched. They were using Hayes as bait, and she'd walked right into it. Cross appeared beside her, silent as a ghost. He'd heard too. He motioned, "Wait for backup." Maya shook her head. Every minute they waited was another minute Hayes was in enemy hands. Another minute closer to whatever horrific example the Sentinel CEO wanted to make. She pushed the door open. Inside, darkness. Her eyes adjusted slowly, shapes in the gloom, crates, machinery, support beams, and in the center, tied to a chair, Commander Jackson Hayes. His face was bloody, his injured leg at a wrong angle. They'd hurt him bad. Two contractors stood beside him, both armed, both watching the door like they'd been expecting her. "Phoenix," one called out cheerfully. "Right on time. We were just getting started." Maya stepped inside, weapon raised. "Let him go." "Sure, after you drop your weapon and come over here." "Not happening." The contractor pressed his pistol against Hayes' head. "Then I put a bullet in his brain. Your choice." Hayes spoke through split lips. "Don't do it, Phoenix. It's not worth—" The contractor hit him. Hayes' head snapped to the side. Maya felt rage flood through her. Cold, calculated rage. "Okay," she said quietly. "Okay, you win." She lowered her weapon. "Phoenix, no!" Hayes tried to struggle. The contractor hit him again. "On the ground," the contractor ordered. "Weapon down, hands behind your head." Maya complied. She set the pistol down, laced her fingers behind her head, knelt. The contractor smiled. "Smart girl. See how easy that was?" He started toward her. That's when Cross opened fire from outside. The second contractor went down immediately. The first spun toward the door, trying to locate the shooter. Maya moved. She grabbed her pistol, rolled, came up firing. 3 shots. The contractor dropped. "Clear!" Cross burst in, weapons sweeping the space. Maya ran to Hayes, started working on his restraints. "Are you okay? How bad are you hurt?" "Been better. Been worse." Hayes tried to smile. Failed. "You came for me." "Of course I came for you. What kind of medic would I be if I left my commander behind?" The restraints came free. Hayes nearly collapsed. Maya caught him. "Cross, we need to move. There'll be more." "Already on it. Backup is 2 minutes out." Cross moved to the door, keeping watch. Maya examined Hayes quickly. Broken ribs, definitely. Possible internal bleeding. His leg wound had reopened. He needed a hospital. "Can you walk?" "Can I breathe?" "Barely." "Can I walk?" "We're about to find out." Hayes stood, using Maya for support. "How did you know it was a trap?" "I didn't. I came anyway." "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard." "You would have done the same." "That doesn't make it smart." But Hayes was smiling despite the pain. Gunfire erupted outside. Cross ducked back in. "We've got company. At least 6 hostiles approaching from the north side." "South exit?" Maya asked. "Probably covered too. They're boxing us in." Hayes looked around the warehouse, calculating. Upper level, catwalk. We go up, we can see them coming, control the engagement. "You can barely stand," Maya protested. "Then you'll have to carry me. Won't be the first time." They moved toward the stairs, Cross covering their retreat. Maya half carried Hayes up the metal steps. Each one made his breath hitch with pain. They reached the catwalk just as the front door burst open. 6 contractors flooded in. Tactical formation, night vision goggles, military precision. "Federal agents!" Cross shouted. "Drop your weapons!" The contractors opened fire. Cross and Maya returned fire from above. The elevated position gave them advantage. 2 contractors went down immediately, but the others spread out, took cover, started a methodical advance. "We can't hold this position," Cross said, reloading. "They'll flank us." "Then we don't hold it." Hayes pointed to the far end of the catwalk. "That door leads to the roof. Roof access means helicopter landing zone." "We don't have a helicopter," Maya said. "Not yet." Hayes pulled out his phone, made a call. "Bennett, where are you?" "Good. I need an evac. Now. Industrial warehouse south of Interstate 5. You'll see the smoke. Yes, I know it's dangerous. Do it anyway." He hung up. "Helicopter inbound. 3 minutes." "We don't have 3 minutes." Cross fired again, hit another contractor. "We have maybe 60 seconds before they overwhelm this position." "Then we make 60 seconds last." Maya's mind raced. "Think. There's always a solution. What resources do we have?" She looked around. Old warehouse, rusted equipment, and overhead, sprinkler system. "Cross, shoot the sprinkler pipe, right there." "Why?" "Trust me." Cross fired. The pipe ruptured. Water poured down, creating a curtain between them and the contractors. "Now the electrical panel, far wall." Cross fired again. Sparks erupted. The water hit the live electricity. The contractors screamed as current ran through the water, pooling on the floor. Not enough to kill, but enough to incapacitate. "Move!" Maya grabbed Hayes, pulled him toward the roof access. They burst onto the roof. Cold night air hit them. In the distance, the thump of rotor blades. Bennett's voice crackled over Cross's radio. "Phoenix, I have visual. Pop smoke." Cross threw a smoke grenade. Red smoke billowed. The helicopter swooped in, a civilian news chopper that Bennett must have commandeered. The side door opened. Bennett leaned out, weapon ready. "Come on, we've got 30 seconds before those contractors regroup." They ran for the helicopter. Maya helped Hayes climb in. Cross followed. Maya grabbed the skid, pulled herself up. Below, contractors burst onto the roof. Gunfire erupted. "Go, go, go!" Bennett shouted to the pilot. The helicopter lifted. Bullets pinged off the undercarriage. The pilot banked hard, putting the warehouse behind them. They were airborne, safe, escaping. That's when Maya saw the RPG. "Missile!" she screamed. The pilot jerked the controls. The helicopter spun violently. The RPG streaked past, missing by inches. "They've got another one!" Bennett was leaning out, firing at the roof. 2 o'clock! Reloading! The pilot pushed the helicopter into a dive. Maya's stomach lurched. They dropped altitude fast, using buildings for cover. Another RPG launched. This one hit. The tail rotor exploded. The helicopter spun out of control. The pilot fought the controls, trying to auto-rotate, trying to find a landing zone. "Brace for impact!" Hayes grabbed Maya, pulled her close. They hit. The world became chaos. Metal screaming, glass shattering, the helicopter tumbling across concrete. Maya felt impact after impact, held on to Hayes, felt him holding her. Then stillness. Maya opened her eyes. They'd crashed in a parking lot. The helicopter was on its side, rotors bent, fuselage crumpled. "Everyone alive?" Hayes's voice was weak. "Here," Maya gasped. "Here," Cross groaned. "Here," Bennett called from the front. Pilots unconscious but breathing. They crawled out through the shattered windscreen. Maya's whole body was one massive bruise. Her ankle was definitely broken now, but she was alive. Hayes collapsed on the concrete, breathing hard. "Okay, new plan. We stop running." "What?" Maya stared at him. "We stop running. We stop hiding. We stop letting Sentinel dictate the terms." Hayes forced himself to sit up. "They want us? Let them come. But on our ground, our terms." "That's suicide," Cross said. "No, Running is suicide. They've got unlimited resources, unlimited time, unlimited reach. We can't outrun that, but we can fight it. Hayes looked at Maya. You were special warfare. You know the best defense is offense. Maya did know. She'd lived by that principle in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in Yemen. What are you suggesting? We go public, full disclosure, every email, every document, every piece of evidence. We put it all online, send it to every media outlet, make it impossible to bury. Hayes's voice gained strength. And we challenge the CEO, publicly. Tell him if he wants us dead, he has to face us himself, not hide behind contractors and mercenaries. He'll never take that bait, Cross said. He will, because his ego won't let him refuse. I know men like him. They can't stand being challenged, can't stand looking weak. Hayes looked at the crashed helicopter, at the fires burning in the distance, at the chaos they'd left behind. We've been playing defense all night. Time to play offense. Maya considered it. Every instinct said it was insane. Every rational thought said it would get them killed. But every lesson she'd learned in combat said Hayes was right. You can't win by running. You win by attacking. I'm in, she said. Cross looked at them both like they were crazy. This is insane. We've established that about us, Maya said. You in or out? Cross was quiet for a long moment. Then he pulled out his phone. I'm in, but we do this smart. We coordinate with FBI, with NCIS, with everyone. We build a trap so tight the CEO can't escape. How long? Hayes asked. Give me 12 hours. I can have a task force assembled, evidence compiled, media contacts lined up. We don't have 12 hours. Sentinel knows we survived. They'll go to ground, destroy evidence, disappear. Then we give them a reason not to. Cross started making calls. We leak just enough to make them think they're winning. Make them think we're scattered, desperate, vulnerable. Then when they move to finish us, we spring the trap. Maya listened to Cross coordinate with multiple agencies, building a complex operation in real time. This was what she'd left behind. The planning, the strategy, the calculated risk. Part of her had missed it. Hayes leaned close. You okay with this? Really okay? Because once we go public, there's no taking it back. No witness protection, no new identity, no disappearing. I'm tired of disappearing. Tired of being someone I'm not. Maya met his eyes. Tonight I remembered who I am. Phoenix. The medic who doesn't quit, doesn't run, doesn't let her people die. Maybe it's time I stopped fighting that. Maybe it's time you embraced it, Hayes said quietly. Sirens approached, multiple vehicles. San Diego PD, fire trucks, ambulances. The crash had drawn attention. We need to move before we're locked down for questioning, Bennett said. I've got a safe house, abandoned industrial complex north of the city. We can regroup there. They moved to Bennett's backup vehicle, a nondescript van parked 2 blocks away. Maya helped Hayes into the back. He was fading, pain and blood loss catching up to him. Stay with me, Commander, she said, checking his vitals. You don't get to die after that speech about fighting. Wasn't planning on it, but his eyes were closing. Maya slapped his face lightly. Eyes open, talk to me. Tell me about your team, the operators who died in Yemen. Hayes's eyes opened. Why? Because I need you conscious and you need to remember why we're doing this. So Hayes talked about Sergeant Mike Torres, who'd had a wife and 2 daughters. About Corporal James Chen, who'd been 3 weeks from going home. About Lieutenant Sarah Martinez, who'd been the best damn sniper Hayes had ever worked with. He talked about how their radios had failed during an ambush, how they'd called for air support that never came because their calls never got through. How they'd fought for 6 hours, outnumbered and outgunned, until their ammunition ran out. How Hayes had found them afterward, all 3 dead, surrounded by 30 Taliban fighters they'd taken down before falling. Martinez had written a letter, Hayes said, voice breaking. She kept it in her vest. For her parents, I had to deliver it. Had to tell them their daughter died because a corporation chose profits over her life. Maya felt tears on her face. We're going to make this right. How? They're dead. Nothing makes that right. No, but we can make sure it doesn't happen to anyone else. We can make sure Sentinel pays for what they did. Maya gripped his hand. That's how we honor them. Not by running, not by hiding, by fighting until Sentinel is destroyed. Hayes squeezed back. Phoenix. Yes? Thank you for not giving up on me, on this, on any of it. Thank you for reminding me who I am. They reached the safe house, an old factory that had been closed for years. Bennett had clearly prepared it for exactly this scenario. Supplies, weapons, communications equipment. Cross immediately started setting up, making calls, coordinating the operation. Maya focused on Hayes. His injuries were serious. Without proper medical care, he might not last the 12 hours they needed. Bennett, medical supplies? Back corner, full trauma kit. Maya found it, started working. IV for fluids, antibiotics for infection, pain management, suturing the reopened wounds, stabilizing the broken ribs. Hours passed. Dawn broke outside. Maya worked through exhaustion, through her own pain, focused entirely on keeping Hayes alive. When she finally finished, Hayes was stable, sleeping, his color better. Cross approached. He going to make it? If we get him to a real hospital in the next 6 hours, yes. Longer than that, uncertain. Then we better make this operation count. Cross showed her his tablet. FBI's on board. NCIS is coordinating. We've got media ready to publish, evidence compiled, everything's in place. What's the plan? We leak our location. Not this one, a different safe house we've prepared. We make it look like we're hiding, vulnerable. Sentinel sends their team. We let them get close. Then FBI moves in, arrests everyone, seizes all communications equipment. We trace it back to whoever gave the orders. And if the CEO doesn't take the bait, then we go to Plan B. We publish everything anyway. Force his hand. Cross pulled up a news site. We've already started, look. The headline read, Navy SEAL testifies about defense contractor corruption. Assassination attempts follow. Below it, photos. Hayes at the award ceremony, the collapsed stage, the hospital attack, and at the bottom, a statement from an anonymous source. More evidence coming. Full disclosure within 24 hours. That'll get their attention, Maya said. It already has. We're monitoring Sentinel's communications. CEO is panicking. He's giving orders, moving assets, trying to contain the situation. Cross smiled grimly. He's making mistakes, big ones. We've got him. When do we move? 6 hours. We leak the fake location, wait for Sentinel's team, spring the trap. 6 hours. Maya could keep Hayes alive for 6 hours, she hoped. Bennett brought food, coffee and protein bars. Not gourmet, but functional. Phoenix, he said quietly, what you did tonight, saving the commander 3 times, taking down contractors, jumping off a fire escape, that's legend stuff. The teams are already talking about it. I'm not looking for legend status. Too late, you've got it, Bennett smiled. You know what they're calling you? The nurse who went to war. The medic who wouldn't quit. Phoenix Rising. Maya almost laughed. I tried so hard to leave that life behind. Maybe that life wasn't meant to be left behind. Maybe it was just waiting for the right moment to come back. Before Maya could respond, Cross's phone rang. He answered, listened, his face going pale. When? Are you sure? He hung up. We've got a problem. What now? Maya was almost afraid to ask. The CEO didn't take the bait. He's not sending contractors. Cross pulled up security footage on his tablet. He's coming himself, with a private military company, 50 armed operators, military-grade equipment. They're not trying to capture Hayes anymore. They're trying to erase the problem entirely. Hayes woke up hearing this. 50 operators? Against the 6 of us, Bennett said. Even with FBI backup, those aren't good odds. Then we even them. Hayes tried to sit up, winced. We use the factory, turn it into a kill box, funnel them through choke points, use their numbers against them. You're in no condition to fight, Maya protested. Then you fight for me, like you always have. Hayes grabbed her hand. Phoenix, I know you wanted to stop being a warrior, but right now, I need the warrior. We all do. Can you give me that? One more time? Maya looked at him, at Cross, at Bennett. 3 men asking her to become what she'd spent a year trying to forget. But maybe Bennett was right. Maybe this life wasn't meant to be left behind. Maybe she was always meant to be Phoenix. One more time, she said. But after this, I'm done. No more battles, no more wars, no more fighting. Hayes smiled. Deal. Cross started pulling up blueprints of the factory. Okay, if we're doing this, we do it right. We've got 6 hours to prepare. Let's make them count. And as dawn broke fully over San Diego, as the city woke up unaware of the battle about to unfold, Maya Reeves prepared for war one final time. They had 5 hours and 43 minutes to turn an abandoned factory into a fortress. Maya watched Cross and Bennett map out defensive positions while her hands worked automatically, checking weapons, loading magazines, her mind somewhere between the present and every firefight she'd sworn to forget. Phoenix, you with us? Hayes called from where he sat propped against a support beam, too injured to stand but too stubborn to stay silent. I'm here. Where's your head? Maya slammed a magazine into an AR-15, chambered around. Helmand Province, Mosul, every place I promised myself I'd never go back to. But you're going anyway. Apparently, I'm slow to learn. She moved to the window, scanned the empty street beyond. Sunrise painted everything gold and red. Beautiful. Deceptive. How many people have to die before Sentinel gives up? All of them, Hayes said quietly. Men like the CEO don't surrender. They escalate until something breaks. Then we'll break him first. Cross approached with a tablet showing thermal imaging of the surrounding area. FBI's in position. Snipers on 3 rooftops. SWAT teams staged 2 blocks out. When Sentinel's forces arrive, we let them enter the factory, then FBI closes the trap. What if they don't enter? Bennett asked. What if they just level the building from outside? They won't. The CEO wants proof we're dead, wants to see our bodies personally. Cross pulled up intercepted communications. He's paranoid, thinks we've made copies of evidence, hidden them. He needs to interrogate us before killing us. Maya felt cold. So we're bait. We've been bait all night, at least this time we know it. The next 4 hours were preparation. They rigged tripwires, positioned weapons caches, mapped escape routes. Maya found herself falling back into combat rhythms she tried so hard to abandon. Check fields of fire, identify cover positions, calculate angles and distances. Her ankle throbbed. She ignored it. Her ribs ached. Ignored that too. Pain was information, not permission to stop. Hayes watched her work. You move different now, more certain. I remember the steps, doesn't mean I like the dance. You're good at it though, better than most operators I've worked with. Being good at killing isn't something to celebrate, Commander. Being good at protecting people is. Hayes shifted, winced. That's what you do, Phoenix. You don't kill, you protect. There's a difference. Maya wanted to believe that. But she'd killed 6 people tonight, maybe more. Lost count somewhere between the hospital and the helicopter crash. How do you do it? She asked. How do you keep fighting without losing yourself? Hayes was quiet for a moment. I don't know if I have kept myself. Maybe we all lose pieces in war. But I choose to believe those pieces go into protecting something bigger. My team, my country, the operators who come after me. And when there's nothing left to give, Then you find more, because the alternative is unacceptable. Bennett's radio crackled. Movement, multiple vehicles approaching from the south. ETA 3 minutes. Cross moved to the window. How many? Convoy of 6. Looks like private military contractors, tactical gear, heavy weapons. Bennett chambered around. This is it. Maya's heart rate stayed steady, training taking over. She moved to her assigned position, second floor, overlooking the main entrance. Good field of fire, multiple exit routes, defensible. Hayes called up to her. Phoenix, she looked down. Don't die. I'm tired of losing people. I'm tired of saving people who keep putting themselves in danger. Then we're even. The convoy stopped 2 blocks away. 50 operators dismounted, moving with military precision. They spread out, surrounding the factory, cutting off escape routes. Crosses radio. FBI teams, hold position. Wait for my signal. The operators advanced. Maya watched through her scope. Professional, experienced. This wasn't going to be like the hospital or the office building. These men knew what they were doing. The front door exploded inward. Breaching charge. Operators flooded through, weapons up, moving in coordinated teams. Maya held fire. Let them come deeper. Let them commit. One team headed for the stairs. Maya's position. She waited until they were halfway up, bunched together, exposed. Then she fired. 3 down before they could react. The others scattered, returning fire. Bullets tore through the metal railing. Maya rolled away, came up behind a support beam, fired again. Below, Bennett and Cross engaged teams pushing through the ground floor. Gunfire echoed through the factory like thunder. Hayes's voice cut through the chaos. Phoenix, you've got flankers coming up the east stairwell. Maya spun, saw 2 operators emerging. She fired. One went down. The other dove behind equipment, returned fire. His shots were precise, professional. Former military, definitely. She couldn't stay pinned. The team on the main stairs would regroup, push her position. Time to move. She grabbed a flashbang from her vest, threw it down the main stairwell, then sprinted for the east stairs. The flashbang detonated. Screams. She used the confusion to reach the stairs, engage the operator there. Close quarters. No room for rifles. She dropped hers, pulled her sidearm, fired 3 rounds center mass. He went down. She grabbed his radio, listened to enemy communications. Second floor partially secured. Hostiles are well trained, dug in. We need support. Roger, Team 3 move to second floor. Team 4 check the basement level. The CEO's voice cut in. I want them alive. Hayes and the woman. Kill everyone else, but I want those 2 breathing. Copy. Switching to non-lethal for primary targets. Non-lethal meant tranquilizers, tasers, restraints. Meant torture before death. Maya keyed Cross's radio. They're trying to take me and Hayes alive. Everyone else is expendable. Copy. FBI, you getting this? Affirmative, moving to intercept. The FBI commander's voice was tense. Engaging in 30 seconds. Those 30 seconds felt like hours. Thanks, Maya gasped. Even. Bennett reloaded. Where's Cross? Ground floor, last I saw. An explosion rocked the building. The west wall collapsed inward. They're bringing heavy weapons, Bennett said. We need to evacuate, now. Not without Hayes. They fought their way down to the ground floor. Hayes was exactly where they'd left him, now holding a rifle, having already killed 2 operators who'd gotten too close. Took you long enough, he said. You're welcome. Maya helped him stand. Can you move? Do I have a choice? Gunfire erupted from outside. The FBI had engaged, finally, but Sentinel's operators were professionals. They didn't panic. They adapted, split their forces, some engaging FBI while others continued pushing into the factory. Cross appeared, bleeding from a shoulder wound. East exit is clear. FBI's opened a corridor. We go now. They moved. Bennett and Maya supporting Hayes between them. cross covering their retreat. They made it to the east exit. Outside, FBI agents were locked in fierce combat with Sentinel operators, bodies on both sides. This had become a full-scale battle. An FBI agent waved them toward an armored vehicle. "Get in! We'll cover you!" They ran. 20 feet. 10. A Sentinel operator appeared from behind a shipping container, weapon raised. Maya saw it happening in slow motion, saw his finger on the trigger, saw the weapon aimed at Hayes. She pushed Hayes aside, took the bullet meant for him. It hit her shoulder, spun her around. She went down hard. "Phoenix!" Hayes was screaming. Bennett shot the operator. Cross grabbed Maya, started dragging her toward the vehicle. Pain exploded through her shoulder. She could feel blood pumping out with each heartbeat. Bad, very bad. They reached the vehicle. Hands pulled her inside. A medic appeared, started working on the wound. Hayes was beside her, his face pale. "Stay with me. Don't you dare die after everything we've been through." "Not planning on it." Maya's voice was weak. "How bad?" The medic didn't answer. That was answer enough. Through the vehicle's window, Maya saw the battle continuing. FBI was winning, slowly, pushing Sentinel's forces back. But the CEO, where was the CEO? Her vision blurred. She forced it clear through sheer will. There, a man in expensive suit, standing behind the line, watching the battle. Confident, arrogant, in control. The CEO. He thought he was safe, thought his money and power made him untouchable. Maya grabbed Hayes' radio with her good hand. Cross, the CEO, behind the shipping containers, blue suit. "I see him. FBI's moving to apprehend." But the CEO was already moving, heading for a helicopter that had appeared on a nearby roof. His escape plan. "He's running," Maya gasped. "Can't let him run." "Phoenix, you can barely move. You can't." Maya was already pushing herself up. The medic tried to stop her. She shoved past him, grabbed a rifle, stumbled out of the vehicle. Her shoulders screamed. Her vision swam. She ignored it all. The CEO was 50 yards away, 40, running for the helicopter. Maya raised the rifle, one-handed, impossible shot, especially wounded. But she'd made impossible shots before. She breathed out, squeezed the trigger. The CEO went down, shot through the leg. He screamed, clutched his thigh. FBI agents swarmed him, cuffed him, dragged him away from the helicopter. Maya collapsed. Hayes caught her. "You got him," he said. "Phoenix, you got him." "Good." Her vision was fading. "Because I think I'm done now." No, stay awake. Medic, we need help here." Hands on her, pressure on the wound. Voices shouting medical terminology she knew but couldn't process. Hayes' face above her. "Don't leave me, please. I can't lose you too." "Not leaving, just resting." Her voice was barely a whisper. "Promise." Then darkness. When Maya woke, she was in a hospital bed. Real hospital. Clean sheets. Monitors beeping steadily. Her shoulder was bandaged, IV in her arm, oxygen in her nose. And sitting beside her bed, asleep in a chair, Commander Jackson Hayes. She tried to speak. Her throat was too dry. She managed a whisper. "Commander." His eyes opened immediately. "Phoenix, you're awake. Thank God, you're awake." "How long?" 2 days. You lost a lot of blood. Needed surgery to repair the artery. Doctors said you were lucky. Half an inch to the left, and you'd have bled out before we got you here. "Luck seems generous," Hayes laughed, relief flooding his face. "Maybe, but you're alive. That's what matters." The CEO? In federal custody, 53 charges including conspiracy to commit murder, bribery, fraud, obstruction of justice. He's not walking away from this. The other Sentinel executives? All arrested. Company assets frozen. The whole organization is being dismantled. Hayes leaned forward. "You did it, Phoenix. You took down a multi-billion-dollar corporation. You got justice for my team, for everyone Sentinel hurt. Maya closed her eyes. Justice. It felt hollow after everything. What about the contractors, the ones who died? Some survived in custody, others didn't. FBI count is 37 enemy combatants killed, 18 captured. On our side, 4 FBI agents dead, 7 wounded. Hayes' voice was heavy. The cost was high. Too high. It always was. A doctor entered, checked Maya's vitals. You're remarkably resilient, Ms. Reeves. Between the bullet wound, the broken ankle, the cracked ribs, and the various contusions, most people would be unconscious for a week. I'm stubborn. So I've heard. From everyone. Commander Hayes refuses to leave your room. Your nurse friend, Dr. Mitchell, has called every 6 hours for updates. Even Navy brass has been asking about you. Navy brass? The doctor smiled. Apparently, your actions over the past 48 hours have attracted significant attention. But we can discuss that later. For now, rest. The doctor left. Maya looked at Hayes. What did he mean, Navy brass? Hayes shifted uncomfortably. There may have been some discussions about your service record, about what you did to protect a Navy SEAL and expose military contractor corruption. Hayes, what did you do? I may have recommended you for a commendation, possibly the Navy Cross, and I may have suggested that your discharge be reviewed. You did what? Maya tried to sit up. Pain shot through her shoulder. She fell back. I left the Navy. I'm done with all that. Are you? Because the woman I've watched over the past 2 days isn't done. She's just getting started. Before Maya could respond, the door opened. Captain Morrison entered, carrying a folder. Miss Reeves, good to see you awake. Morrison pulled up a chair. We need to talk about your future. I have a future planned, going back to nursing. At Mercy General, the hospital that was evacuated and is now a crime scene? Morrison opened the folder. That won't be possible for several months at minimum, which gives you time to consider other options. I'm not rejoining the Navy. I'm not asking you to, but there are other opportunities. The FBI wants you as a consultant. NCIS wants you as an investigator. 3 private security firms have made offers, and the Navy wants to award you the Navy Cross for valor. Maya stared. This is insane. Hayes laughed. We've established that about you. Morrison continued. But there's one more option you should consider. The Navy is creating a new program. Combat medics who train civilian trauma teams, bringing battlefield medicine to hospitals, teaching doctors and nurses the techniques you use to save Commander Hayes. That made Maya pause. Teaching? You'd have the rank of lieutenant commander. You'd work with hospitals across the country. You'd save lives without going to war. Morrison met her eyes. It's a chance to be Phoenix without the combat, to use what you learned without returning to the battlefield. Maya looked at Hayes. Did you know about this? I may have suggested it. After watching you work, you're too good to waste in a standard nursing position. But you also deserve to not be in combat if that's not what you want. I don't know what I want anymore. Then take time to figure it out. Hayes squeezed her hand. You've earned it. No one's asking you to decide today. Morrison stood. Think about it. The offer stands as long as you need. She left the folder on the bedside table. After she left, Maya and Hayes sat in silence. Finally, Maya spoke. Why did you do it? Recommend me for honors, suggest programs. Why? Because you deserve recognition. Because what you did matters. Because I've never met anyone who fights as hard to save lives as you do. Hayes' voice was gentle. And because I wanted to give you choices. Real choices. Not running away, not hiding, but actively choosing what kind of life you want. I wanted a quiet life. I know, and you can still have that. But maybe quiet doesn't have to mean invisible. Maybe you can have peace without disappearing. Maya thought about that. About Dr. Mitchell and Patricia at Mercy General. about the young nurse who'd wanted to join the Navy Medical Corps, about all the people who might benefit from what she knew. I need to think. Take all the time you need. I'm not going anywhere. Hayes gestured to his bandaged leg. Literally, I'm stuck here for another week minimum. Despite everything, Maya smiled. Good, someone needs to make sure you don't discharge yourself early and tear your sutures again. That happened one time. It happened 3 times that I know of. They talked for hours. About Yemen, about Helmand Province, about the operators who died, about Dr. Martinez and her letter, about Torres's daughters who would grow up without a father, about Chen's parents who'd lost their only son, about making sure it never happened again. 3 weeks later, Maya stood in a naval ceremony room. Her shoulder was still healing but functional, her ankle in a walking boot, her body bruised but unbroken. Commander Jackson Hayes stood beside her, also healing, also unbroken. In front of them, a Navy admiral pinned medals to their chests. Navy Cross for both. Hayes for his testimony and actions against Sentinel. Maya for saving his life and helping bring down a corrupt corporation. Maya felt the weight of the medal. It was heavier than she expected. Afterward, there was a reception. Officers congratulated her. Strangers shook her hand. Dr. Mitchell appeared, hugging her carefully around the injuries. I'm so proud of you, Mitchell said, and Mercy General wants you back. Whenever you're ready, trauma team lead position is yours. I'm considering other options, Maya admitted. The teaching program Morrison told me about? You knew? She called me, asked for a reference. I gave you the highest recommendation possible. Mitchell smiled. Whatever you choose, you'll be brilliant at it. As the reception continued, Maya found herself on a balcony, looking out at San Diego. The city was healing from the battle. The factory had been demolished. The hospital was being repaired. Life was returning to normal. Hayes joined her. What are you thinking? That I spent a year trying to forget who I was, trying to be someone else. Someone quieter, smaller, less capable. And now? Now I'm wondering why I ever thought that was necessary. Maya turned to face him. Because the world needs more people like you. People who fight for others. People who don't give up even when it would be easier. They stood together, watching the sunset paint the city gold and red. Below them, life continued. Ambulances rushed to emergencies. Doctors saved patients. Nurses worked night shifts. And somewhere in the chaos, Maya Reeves, call sign Phoenix, had found her place again. Not as a warrior, not as a victim, but as a healer who'd learned hard lessons and was ready to teach them. 6 months later, Maya stood in front of a classroom of trauma nurses. Her shoulder had healed. Her ankle was strong. The scars remained, but they didn't define her. Combat medicine isn't about war, she told her students. It's about refusing to let people die when you have the skills to save them. It's about working with limited resources and unlimited determination. It's about being the person who doesn't quit when quitting would be easier. She demonstrated the pressure point technique she'd used on Hayes, showed them how to stabilize crush injuries, taught them to read signs of compartment syndrome before imaging confirmed it. Some of you will never see combat, she continued, but you'll see car accidents, industrial injuries, natural disasters. You'll face situations where textbook knowledge isn't enough. That's when these techniques matter. That's when you become more than a nurse. You become Phoenix. After class, a young nurse approached. Is it true that you saved a Navy SEAL 3 times in one night? 4 times, actually. But who's counting? Maya smiled. And he saved me too. That's how it works. We save each other. I want to be like you. Then don't be like me. Be better. Learn from my mistakes. Save more lives. Push farther. Maya touched the young nurse's shoulder. The world doesn't need another Phoenix. They talked about their days. Hayes told her about testifying at the Sentinel trials. All executives convicted. The CEO facing 40 years in federal prison. Justice finally served. Maya told him about her students, about teaching them to save lives, about feeling purpose again. "I'm proud of you," Hayes said quietly, "for finding your way back." "I didn't find my way back. I found my way forward. There's a difference." "There is, and it's a good one." After hanging up, Maya walked to her apartment window. The city sprawled before her, millions of lives continuing, unaware of the battle that had been fought for their safety. She touched her shoulder where the scar remained, permanent reminder of what she'd survived, what she'd fought for. The nurse who became a warrior, the medic who wouldn't quit, Phoenix rising from ashes to save lives again and again. Some stories end with victory, some with defeat. But Maya's story ended with something better: purpose. She'd stopped running from who she was and started running toward who she could become. And in a world that needed healers as much as heroes, that was enough. More than enough. It was everything.